soon as we agree upon a plan, you go up and you do something crazier. It's almost like, you got to stay one step ahead of me, calling the shots.
If I see an opportunity, I'ma take it. You really think you'd be a connect right now without me?
Nah. But without me backing you up, you'll be dead.
You just gonna...
In a game where trust and loyalty is rare, Tommy and Diamond have created one formidable partnership in the streets of Chicago. We've seen them go toe-to-toe with Markovich, the Flynns, and also Miguel Garcia, where they ended up shaking hands on a deal with Elche to replace the Serbian network. Now you'd assume with the CBI on top of their game, the best position they've ever been in, everything is all good, but I think we all know that's far from the case. There's a few moves that are being made in the shadows by Jenard and Shanti, which is something we will dissect later on in this video. But have we seen clues to suggest that we could see Tommy versus Diamond at some stage in the future? I think we have, and I think we will. So in this video, we will be running through a breakdown of Tommy and Diamond's relationship. There's also a few clues that Joseph Sikora has given in his interviews, so I will be bringing in a few quotes as usual for all things Power Book 4 Force Season 3. Now just as a quick recap, Season 1 ended with Diamond against his brother. This was after Jenard betrayed him and tried to take the CBI. He knew he couldn't deal with his brother and sent hitters, as well as trying to get Markovich and the Flynns to deal with him. Not only did that backfire, but their relationship looked dead and buried, just like Dahlia was. Tommy also lost Liliana and they broke away from this new designer drug, and they were left looking at the map of Chicago and territory that they did have. It was smaller than they'd hoped because of the split with Jenard, but it was something to build on in Season 2.
Yeah. Stay the fuck away from Chatham.
Now Season 2 started with a clear divide. There was treason on one side and CBI on the other, and there was always going to be conflict from within, especially in a game which revolves around territory, money and power. Chewie flipped to treason and Tommy thought he had to deal with that disrespect, and so early on you had Tommy making a solo move without Diamond. It stayed true to Tommy's character because he doesn't take too kindly to disrespect, but what this did was cause a chain reaction and a war with treason. However, the vision that they did share was becoming kings of Chicago. They played Miguel and the Mexicans, started building on their territory and making their mark, and in essence, doing what Miguel couldn't. There was bloodshed early on with innocent lives being caught in the crossfire, but eventually Tommy and Diamond were able to put an end to the violence. Now having said that, both of these characters were keeping secrets from each other, which was a common theme throughout Season 2. Diamond had the issue with Bennigan extorting him, and one stage we even saw Tommy confronting Diamond. Meanwhile, love was in the air for Tommy, but not with any old random, it was their connect sister.
Mireya, she off limits.
What you talking about?
Man, stay away from her. The graveyard is packed with guys that made the same mistake.
Now this I feel is going to be one of the major issues between Diamond and Tommy in Season 3, which I will talk about in a bit more detail later on. But Diamond told Tommy not to go there with Mireya because the graveyard is packed full of men who have tried, just like Mireya's ex, Carlos. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Diamond knows about Tommy and Mireya's relationship. Tommy has been keeping it a secret, so just keep that in mind.
What the hell are you doing? I'm fucked up, bro.
Now this was another secret, but this time it was Diamond's turn. Jenard was in a really dark place, but despite him being a mess, their father's death brought the brothers back together, and Diamond offered him a place back in with the CBI. However, he didn't tell Tommy about Jenard's drug addiction, although I think he may have had an inkling anyway. Tommy's been around the block for a while, and I think he knows a junkie when he sees one. Now regardless, that's besides the point. Tommy asked him whether there was anything else he needed to know about Jenard, and Diamond said there wasn't. So again, they were making very good business moves in the streets, but they were keeping their cards really close to their chest when it came to personal relationships and a few battles that they were having to deal with. Now even though this video is on Tommy and Diamond, I do feel we have to touch on Shanti Showstopper, who is making moves in the shadows. Diamond said she was a boxer who moves around a lot, which made her unpredictable. She's been planning and making chess moves behind the scenes, helping Diamond and Tommy build their organization back up, but only because she wants to take it from them, while killing both of them in the process. She was also the one who helped Jenard get clean, so he could get back into the CBI, so they were able to attack from the inside. Now while Shanti's been working the angle of Tommy and coming up with strategic moves, Jenard's been in Diamond's ear about them not really needing Tommy in the CBI.
CBI, running Chicago like we always planned to.
You, me, and Tommy fucking Egan, right? We need him.
One of the themes for Season 3 is said to be blood being thicker than water, and if that is the case, then I can see this being a problem. And so just to add some more context, this is what Joseph Sikora had to say on this particular scenario. I think Tommy innately trusts Jenard because I think he sees his old self in Jenard. He knows he's a loose cannon. He also realizes that the bond between family is strong and deep, especially with Diamond. He knows that through his relationship with Ghost, he couldn't even stop himself from killing his pregnant girlfriend because she was going against his brother. I think that he's learned from his past mistakes how deep these family bonds can go. So I think there is an innate conflict between the Sampson brothers and Tommy Egan, as much as they'll all keep their eyes on the prize. So that's directly from Joseph Sikora, and he knows better than anyone. Brothers fight. They can try and kill each other just like him and Ghost did back in Power. But at the end of the day, blood is thicker than water. Now of course, blood doesn't necessarily make you family, and I do think we have to raise that point. But I do think Tommy knows that the bond between Jenard and Diamond is getting stronger, despite all the beef that they've had. Now, on Jenard being in Diamond's ear, we also have to remember so was Miguel Garcia. He brought Diamond in to see what he thinks about merging the CBI with the Insane Princes on one condition: no Tommy Egan. But this meeting was interrupted by Miguel's grandmother being blown up in the car outside, so we never really got to see what Diamond thought about the deal, and I do wonder what he would have said. Tommy's done a lot for him and the CBI since he got to Chicago, and both did raise their points in 210. But money and power do sometimes make people make strange decisions, especially when there's been solo moves that have been made. Now, we can only go on hypotheticals in terms of this meeting between Miguel and Diamond, but the evidence that we can look at is Tommy's latest solo move, which may make Diamond think a bit more.
I want Vic sweating bullets until I switch things up. Diamond, we own him.
No doubt Vic has played a huge part in Diamond and Tommy's rise in Chicago. He gave them access to the North, and they couldn't have formed this coalition without him. But Vic's driving force was freedom and having a noose tied around his neck by Stacey Marks. Now, Tommy found out that Vic was a snitch at the end of episode 9, and Diamond knows better than anyone what happens to those in the streets. He was expecting Vic to be dealt with by Raheem and Bones, but again, this goes back to what Jenard was planting in Diamond's mind about Tommy making solo moves. He kept Vic alive because he thought it would benefit them by using him to find out what law enforcement knows about their operation, whereas Diamond wanted him to be dealt with. Now, when it comes to this situation, I do think you can look at both perspectives and say neither of them are wrong. Snitches have to be dealt with, but it's also not a bad idea to use Vic. But the problem with this was, Tommy didn't tell Diamond, and so it just adds to the frustration between the two. Now, when we talk about their conflict in season 3, I'm gonna split the next chapter into 3 parts. There's Miguel Garcia, D-Mac, and then there's Jenard and Shanti. Now, despite Tommy being on the top of his game in Chicago, he did lose his family and also Mireya. Now on Mireya, I mentioned earlier that I don't believe Diamond knows about their relationship, and you can only assume much of Tommy's story will be trying to find Mireya in season 3. That means going up against Miguel and causing beef in the streets, which I don't think Diamond will be on board with. If you told Diamond Miguel made a move on his territory or killed one of their soldiers, then you can see Diamond saying fuck it, let's strike back. But I don't see them doing that over Mireya. He won't want to let Mireya get in the way of business, and so this will be a problem between them. Now, D-Mac is another huge issue. He made a stupid move in the streets when he killed Mad Dog in broad daylight, and I'm sure Tommy will give him the Tariq treatment, but it doesn't take away the fact that Diamond and Jenard offered him to King Kilo as a peace offering. So this goes back around to the theme of blood being thicker than water. Tommy will know D-Mac fucked up and made a mistake, but it doesn't mean that he's going to turn his back on him. At the end of the day, he is still his nephew, and this is what Joseph Sikora had to say on his relationship with D-Mac. Tommy really wants to raise him right. It is almost like Tommy knows he's going to be in the streets, so Tommy's like, let me teach you the best I can to keep you safe. Because taking you out of the streets isn't going to work. I tried that, so let me see if I can teach him. So both Mireya and D-Mac will cause a wedge between Diamond and Tommy. Now, last but not least, Shanti and Jenard. No doubt Jenard is going to be in Diamond's ear once again, but so will Shanti be in Jenard's. She wants to kill both Diamond and Tommy, and so when it comes to this scenario, it really does get complex. Jenard has been playing Tommy and Diamond, and he's happy to get rid of Tommy, but he doesn't want anything happening to his brother. So this situation is a little complex because if Diamond learns about what Jenard's been up to behind his back, then I don't think he's going to be too happy. But having said that, I do think Jenard will eventually turn on Shanti and save Diamond. He's not fully on board with Shanti's vision in terms of getting rid of Diamond, so I can actually see Jenard being the one to put an end to Shanti's showstopper. But the real question is, what damage, mayhem and chaos do they do in regards to Diamond and Tommy's relationship? So Jay and Shanti are also ones to watch. Now, with all of that being said, that's a breakdown of the relationship between Tommy and Diamond. Can you guys see Tommy versus Diamond, or is their business partnership strong enough? I don't think it is, and I also do think they are in for some tough times. But drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.